started today. So good afternoon. My name is Amanda Jarvis, and I'm with the Virginia SBDC Network. For those of you that are not familiar with our organization, the Virginia Small Business Development Center is a partnership program between the U.S. Small Business Administration, George Mason University, and local host institutions throughout Virginia. With 27 locations across the Commonwealth, we provide training and technical assistance to small businesses in their local communities. Our one-on-one consulting services are available at no charge. Today's webinar, It's All About the Data, is presented by the Virginia SBDC Network. Be sure to check out our next webinar in the series, Protecting Your Small Business from Identity Theft, on May 18th. We are recording today's presentation and it will be posted on our website, virginiasbdc.org. Due to the large number of participants, everyone's microphone is muted, but if you have questions during the presentation, you can type those into the Q&A box. We have also enabled the live transcript function, which you can show or hide via your meeting controls. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our presenter for today's session. Quiana Gainey is a 20-plus year IT and cybersecurity industry veteran and has served as Chief Executive Officer for Secure Tech 360, located in Springfield, Virginia, since its inception in 2010. Ms. Gainey is also the cyber industry specialist for the Virginia SBDC. All right, and I will turn it over to Quiana and share my screen.
Awesome. Thank you, Amanda. Welcome everyone to part 2 of our 3-part series. Today, we will be discussing It's All About the Data. We'll be going over common scams that target small businesses. Today, we'll go to the next slide with the agenda. Start with the agenda. So Amanda just gave you my warm introduction. I'm very excited about this new role as a Virginia cybersecurity specialist. I'm here to assist small business owners navigating their cybersecurity requirements or things that they need to make their organization security posture secure. In addition to that, I'm also a small business owner, so I understand being in your place. I know we wear a million different hats as small business owners, and cyber sometimes can be something that we put in the back. But today I just want to leave you with a couple of nuggets so that we can start incorporating these practices in our everyday way that we're doing business. In addition to that, I also have run a nonprofit. So I've been on both sides of the spectrum. So I understand a lot when it comes to small business. Been running one for 12 years. So very excited to be able to be a support to Virginia SBDC. Next slide. So let's jump right in. Scams, right? If you own a small business or you're part of a nonprofit organization, you spend a lot of time and effort making sure that that organization is a well-oiled machine, right? But then we have to think about the scammers and what they're after. They're after data. Sometimes they're after, trying to hurt your reputation, which can also affect your bottom line. So knowing what scams to look for can help you to stay one step ahead of them, right? Today, we will cover a few simple steps that can help protect you and your small business. Next slide. So common scams that target small businesses. So even for myself this morning, when I woke up and was going through my emails, I received a notice from my small business bank, Chase, that had some tips about common financial scams, where they were saying to, keep an eye out on, if you see emails, they're saying to reset your password or to send information over to them about your banking information over that, to make sure that it's not a scam, right? And even one of my clients, the fake invoice scam, they create phony invoices that look like products or services that your business can use. One of my clients went through this during the beginning of COVID, and they started doing like PPE sales. So they were selling masks and hand sanitizers. And they had found someone that they normally don't do business with, but it was another person that introduced them to do business with this other business. And they created an invoice and sent the invoice over. And in the middle of the transmission, the invoice had a couple numbers that was off. So immediately the small business owner contacted us and say, hey, take a look at this invoice. It seems like there's something that's going on. So in incidents like that, you have to make sure that the person that you're doing business with also understands that on the other end of that, if you're going to be sending over invoices or you're going to be doing any type of transactions, to make sure that what was originally put in that email or was originally put in that invoice is correct. And it could be simple things that we do, but sometimes it could be when you're just you're busy and you're just trying to get something done. Pick up the phone and call and just say, hey, this looks a little off. Can you validate on your end if this invoice is correct or if the banking information is correct? Because they get very crafty in trying to produce fake invoices to make you think that it is the same as the one that you've done, just to take your financial information. Another big one is the government agency imposter scam. When scammers call you, I've had some ones that call me on the phone and say, this is the FBI and we are investigating your business, or this is the IRS and we are threatening to impose some additional fines or take legal actions. In those type of incidents, contact those local agencies, and what you'll find sometimes, I'll even go to the website and they'll usually have the most up-to-date information about potential government agency imposter scams that are going on. But also you can always call and make sure that whatever the agency was looking for is correct. You don't have to give out the information right there. I know sometimes the scammers will try to make you feel intimidated or threaten you to take action now with all these different consequences, but that is not normally how business is handled for these government agencies. So immediately when something like that happens, if you don't have a cybersecurity consultant or you don't have enough information to make sure that this person is who they say they are, don't give out any sensitive information. Immediately stop the conversation, go to the agency's website, find a phone number, contact the agency, and find out if this is a legitimate request. Next slide. In addition to with training, even with having a small business, sometimes it's you and probably one other person, they'll try to use things to trick your employees to give out confidential or sensitive information. Sometimes they'll come with a phishing email, and the email would be from somebody that you know. And if you look at the actual email address, it's usually a letter off or usually something that looks a little suspicious, but it looks like it's coming from a trusted source, or it could be coming from maybe a supervisor or a senior employee, or maybe someone that you're currently doing business with. They may ask you to request to update your passwords, right? Or they'll give you the tech support scam that starts with a call or an alarming pop-up message pretending to be from a well-known company like Microsoft, if you have Office 365, or telling you that there's a problem with your computer security, change your password now. Just make sure that you don't respond immediately. Do your research. If you have an IT person, contact the IT person to see if there's something going on with your password. Even call Office 365 or whoever your tech support is and find out directly from them if there is something that needs to happen, like if there's an update that needs to happen, or if they're requiring you to change passwords. More than likely, 99.9% of the time, it's a scam, because most organizations will not contact you directly to tell you to reset your password or to give out information in real time. Next slide. Again, some other additional scammer tactics, because it's all about the data. They're trying to steal the data from you. They're trying to get information from you. They may call, email, text, pretending to be someone you know. Know who you're talking to. Never offer information, especially sensitive information, to someone who calls you directly that you do not know. I know we tell even our small children, stranger danger, don't accept candy from people that you don't know. Don't, leave with someone that that comes to you and say that they're a family friend. We tell these things to our youth, and the scammers use the same tactics but they try to make it in a more sophisticated way, pretending that it's something urgent, or using intimidation methods, or pretending to be someone you know. Make sure that you just at least get off the phone immediately. Do not respond to the email or text. Call the person or the business that is trying to get the information directly, and to see if they know Agent X or the person that contacted you, if they were looking for this information, just to make sure that they are who they say they are. Scammers love to create a sense of urgency. So take a moment. When scammers try to make a situation sound urgent, so you can react and give them the information, what they want, before you realizing what's happening. So make sure you just take a moment. I always say stop, think, then react, and verify and validate before you give out any information, right? Because the whole intent is to take your data, or to use the data to be able to do other things with it that could create a loss of reputation for you, or create some issues with future business. So you want to stay one step ahead of this. Next slide. How can I protect my business? We talked about this a little bit earlier. Know who you're dealing with even when you're doing business with other small business owners, or someone gives you a referral, before doing business with that new company. Search the company's name online with the term scam, or to see if there's any recent complaints. Read what others are saying about that company. We live in a very tech-driven world where most people are putting reviews about businesses, about people they come in contact. Usually if it's someone that is well-known in business, they'll usually have like a LinkedIn account. I know I use LinkedIn to try to check to see, who they are, what organizations they've been a part of, or who they're connected to. Just do your research, because sometimes cold calls are not always cold calls. They could be very strategic in nature to try to scam you out of some information, or to take some data or steal some data from you. One big thing that, if nothing else, we don't take anything else from this presentation today, is train your employees. Even if you say, I only have one employee, or it's just me and my mom, or it's just me and my daughter or my son. Make sure that those employees are educated about any new emergent cyber threats, and how to protect your organization's data. You know better than anyone what data you have in your possession, and how you need to protect that data. Explain to your staff about how scams are happening. And if anyone asks them for sensitive data, do not use email to send that data over. Or even for you as a small business owner, I know we're busy doing a lot of things. Never ask your employees to send any sensitive data over email, because then that also produces bad habits, and you don't want to produce any bad habits within your organization. You want to make sure that you are staying ahead of the curve. Physical security. This one, I know sometimes. Secure your organization files and sensitive information. Store documents in a locked file cabinet, and limit access to employees who have a legitimate business need, right? So if you don't have a legitimate business need, you don't need access to the HR files. If you're not working in HR, you don't need access to financial data if you're not doing anything financial in nature. So making sure that you limit access to those employees who need certain data or certain information to perform their jobs. Make sure that those things are in a secure file that has limited access to the person who needs access to that data. And also plan ahead. Create a plan to respond to security incidents. If something happens, do this. Call this person. Even if you have someone on your staff, even if it's just one person, make it an additional duty. If something happens, call this person, and this person will do X, Y, and Z. I think that is very key and crucial to understanding when incidents are happening in real time, that employees know who to call, what to do. I know in my organization, we love Department of Homeland Security, because they have all these stop, think, connect posters, and we have them all around our organization. The Federal Trade Commission also have all these wonderful handy little pamphlets that you can have just around your organization that can assist with what to do in the case of emergencies. If something happens, if you need to get the FBI involved, if you need to get the Attorney General involved, if there are some incidents that are happening to you that you want to protect other small business owners, to contact the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. So just knowing what to do, who to contact, when to do it, also will be very crucial in you protecting your small business. Next slide. So as a small business owner, we have to continue to earn our customer loyalty. And by doing that, by having valuable security practices on how we plan to protect their data and our data, makes our customers understand that we are there to support and make sure that the data that they have entrusted us with is in good hands. And for more tips about how to protect your small business from scams, I talked about it earlier. You can visit ftc.gov small business. You can also order these wonderful handouts that they will send to you free of charge. And if you spot a scam, you can report it to ftc.gov that's a complaint. You can report, and you can be the one to help and stop scams that's happening in real time, and to support other small business owners in this fight against these scammers that are trying to take our data. Remember also, your best defense is an informed workforce. Explain to your staff how scams work. Encourage your employees to talk with their other coworkers if they spot a scam. Encourage your employees to come to you if there is an issue. I always say, I tell all my employees, I have an open door policy. If you see something, say something. If you think that something's not right, I'd rather you take the road of verifying and validating before you press send, before you give out any information. Just stop and think and make sure that whoever you're sending information to, whatever data that you've been entrusted with, that you are protecting it by any means necessary, by making sure you're doing your part, not to be a part of the problem, but to be a part of the solution. Next slide. Any questions?
I have a couple questions in here so far. Are you familiar with the NIST 800-171 requirements for federal contractors? And does the SBDC offer any free assistance to help small businesses in meeting these requirements?
Yes. So at the end, we'll put up the contact information, but we are doing one-on-one counseling to discuss any of those needs that you have for your small business. And we also have just partnered, I'm so excited about this, with another organization that will be giving us a program that will help us build security programs that meet those requirements. And the tool is amazing. So it kind of walks you through how to set up a security program. The training that we've just discussed about educating your employees are in there as well. There's different steps on how to secure your devices, what encryptions to use, if you need multi-factor authentication. All the requirements based on the NIST is there as well. So yes, so if you need more assistance or you need some additional resources or help with navigating these requirements, just please sign up for our one-on-one counseling, and we can get you set up with our partner Posture to help build that security program to make sure that your posture is an ongoing part of your everyday operations.
Great, thanks. To what extent can a small business be held liable if customer data is hacked?
So you can, just like with anything, if someone entrusted you with the data and something happens, you can be held liable. So what I would suggest, and even for my own small business, because we support federal and state and local government, we got some cyber risk insurance. The cyber risk insurance, it was a minimal cost, right? If you do the cost analysis based on if I get a breach or I do a incident, how much would that cost me? Versus having cyber risk insurance, it was minimal. It gives you a little comfort and peace of mind that if something happens, just like with anything, if some vandalism happened to your property, you can put in an insurance claim, and that could help with offset some costs, but also taking a stance of showing that you are proactive in protecting that data. So making sure that your employees are trained. We have, even with our staff, we use rules of behavior that outlines what you're supposed to do with the devices, the equipment, the data that you're entrusted with, and all the employees sign that. We do initial cybersecurity training. We do reoccurring training. We do background checks so that we can show that we've done our due diligence with our employees that have been entrusted with that data. Because sometimes even in litigation, they want to see that you were proactive and that you took some steps to make sure that your small business was protected. So doing those simple things, also, contacting your local insurance broker to see about cyber risk insurance, I think that will give you a little peace of mind. So in the case that a breach or incident does happen.
Great, thank you. And anyone else, if you have questions for Quiana, you can go ahead and put them in the Q&A box. We have plenty of time left to get to your questions today. Also, I want to let you know that I put up our next upcoming webinar here on the slide for next week, protecting your small business from identity theft. And I'll go to the next question. How should we make sure that we are compliant with the GDPR requirements if they will also be helpful?
So again, if you have those requirements that are specific to your small business, set up a one-on-one counseling. We can kind of walk through those, get you a plan in place to make sure that you are meeting those requirements. What you'll find is that with NIST or any other requirements, the premise of all those requirements is making sure that you're taking a proactive approach to cybersecurity, meaning getting your folks trained, meaning putting in technical safeguards like multi-factor authentication or encryption on your devices, making sure that you are patching on time, or making sure that you are, aware of any incidents or risks that can cause a potential issue with your particular small business. So taking a proactive approach with any security requirement always will keep you one step ahead. It will also give your customers and even your small business a fighting chance to get scams. Like with anything, we can't prevent everything from happening, but we can also do our part to make sure that we are positioning ourselves to have the most to have a sustainable security posture that will give us a level of assurance that we've done our best and our due diligence to protect our customers, to protect our small business, and protect the data that we're being entrusted with.
Great, thank you. How can you send sensitive information?
So if you have, depending on what type of email service that you're using, they usually have a secure email that you can use, or you can also just password protect that data and then send maybe the password or the code on another method. Maybe you can text it, you can pick up the phone and call the person. So just making sure that the information that you're sending is done in a secure fashion. I always say the best thing you can do is pick up the phone, call the person, say, hey, I'm getting ready to send you X, Y, and Z. I'm going to send you, I want to validate that the information that you received is correct, and go over what the information they received to make sure that something didn't get lost in transmission, but making sure that you password protect that information. But I would recommend that if you don't have to send something over email, do not send it over email in clear text. Make sure that it has some type of encryption, that is password protected, and then do your due diligence by picking up the phone to make sure that it's valid and that nothing happened in transmission of that information.
Great, thank you. Who and why is behind spending time and resources to develop scams? Why would they go after small business data?
You know, it's very sad, but you'll be surprised as a small business owner that there are so many different motivations for why people do the things that they do. I always say criminals sometimes don't have a profile or rhyme or reason why they're doing the things that they're doing. You may think, hey, I'm just a flower shop owner, and why would they just want my data? It could be that you use Square or some type of way to collect credit cards. And it could be trying to use your information to log on to also cause an interruption for a big organization like Square and take down Square. They can use you to get to something bigger or to more of an enterprise, a more enterprise level where it will affect more users, or they can use that to be able to steal information or data. So motivations are different for different cyber criminals, but doing your best, again, and taking a proactive approach and making sure that you're doing your due diligence to secure your information and your data for your customers is the best thing that you can do. I always use the analogy of your house. You wouldn't leave your house wide open and give strangers key to it, correct? You only would access to your house to people that you trust, people that you know, or people that reside in that house, correct? And if you had like vendors or people that came in to your house, you would probably open the door, or you would probably create like a special code for them to get in and out. You wouldn't give them the same code or information for people that live in the house, or that you wouldn't give them the same code as people that live in the house. So that's how I always approach cybersecurity. It's very simple steps, things that you can do that you do every day in your everyday lives, which is protecting your homes, protecting your families. It's the same premise with protecting your data for your small business.
Great, thank you. And thank you everybody for your questions so far. They're great. So keep them coming if you have more. Also, I just want to let you know, I put Quiana's info up here on the slide, so you can contact her, and you can also schedule a one-on-one session with her through this Calendly link here too. So for small businesses that don't have many resources, how is the best way to keep up with training and developments with security?
So I'm glad you asked that. So I always say, even if it's something as simple as coming up with a one-pager, there are so many websites that have a lot of supportive information. Department of Homeland Security is a great resource. The Federal Trade Commission is also a great resource. The Virginia SBDC, shameless plug, also is a great resource. We have a lot of information. There's trainings, there's webinars that have been previously recorded that's there that you can at your leisure sit through and get a wealth of information. I just also talked about how we just got a great partnership with Posture that is free of charge, complimentary to you, to be able to set up and start building a security program. And it has everything from educational videos to tips and different ways to secure your devices and to keep abreast of all these different trends. So just using those as your first line of defense to keep yourself abreast of that. And then even with a small business, if you see trainings or webinars like this, if you're the small business owner and you can't attend, send one of your employees, have them take notes. they can bring those notes back and present those in your weekly staff meetings. We do all hands in my small business, and we do every all hands. We try to do some type of cybersecurity tip. We open up the room for discussions about different incidents and things that have happened, so that we can all understand like what we could do better next time, or what happened, or just keeping that line of communication. Just like you talk about finances and you talk about maybe getting more contracts or grants or funding sources, put cybersecurity in a part of those conversations as well, because I think that will definitely help create a culture in your small business that promotes cybersecurity, that promotes, what to do when issues or incidents happen. So that would be my recommendation. And again, shameless plug as well. You can always sign up for a one-on-one meeting with myself, and we can walk through some issues that are specific to your business that you have encountered. Because a lot of times what I found is that with small business owners, a lot of incidents are things that they see, they don't usually report it. And that also can create issues, because if one person thinks that something's just happening to them, when it's happening, organizational wide, or it's happening in your local area, we have to do our part to make sure that as the small business community as a whole, that we're reporting these incidents, that we're utilizing these resources that are available to us. The Virginia SBDC has done a wonderful job of creating programming and webinars and information to help your small business. So I would spend some time on the website, gathering as much information. There's some links and additional resources there as well. Spend some time with that and start creating your own cybersecurity culture.
Great, thank you so much. I have a couple questions here that are kind of related, so I'm going to ask them at the same time.
Okay.
Are Gmail and Hotmail safe to use for business? What email solutions do you recommend for small business without paying too much or adding support staff?
So Gmail and Hotmail, and I know as a small business owner, I'm going to say I'm going to have two responses to this. I know when you're first getting started and resources are very scarce, and you want to use, you want to use an email service like Gmail and Hotmail. Been there, done that, and understand that you have to do that when you're first starting out. My suggestion is not to send any sensitive information on those emails. If you do, password protect those emails. You can also use Office 365. This has been a great solution for small business owners like myself, where you only have to pay per employee, and there's a licensing fee, and it's minimal, but they also have some additional security features that maybe Gmail and Hotmail, won't have. So, but also educating your employees about using those email services, having them sign the rules of behavior that say, don't send out sensitive information on these, don't send out sensitive information in clear text that hasn't been password protected, that doesn't have any form of encryption. Just keeping that as the forefront, keeping that in the forefront, I think will help you design a security posture that is sustainable. So short answer, you can use Gmail and Hotmail, but just making sure that you read the fine print, because there is a lot of privacy policies and terms and conditions with said free services. So ensure that you're reading the fine line about that, because most of the time it has some information about how your data is being used, how your data is being protected. If you have some additional funding that you can use, look at other email sources like Office 365 as a solution for your small business.
Great, thank you so much. I don't see any other questions in here, so unless nobody has anything else, I'll go ahead and wrap up for the day. So I've launched a poll here, an evaluation for the session today. If you have a moment to fill that out, that would be much appreciated. We like to get the feedback. I just want to let everybody know you'll all receive an email with a link to the recording and to the slides. If you would like to sign up for upcoming webinars or access recorded webinars, please visit virginiasbdc.org/training. Be sure to check out our next webinar in the series, Protecting Your Small Business from Identity Theft, on May 18th. Quiana mentioned our partnership with Posture a couple times, and I've put the link to that in the chat here. So if you're interested in checking that out, you can sign up through that link. This webinar and other SBDC resources are designed to be used in collaboration with your local SBDC advisors. You can sign up for a free and confidential session by emailing help@virginiasbdc.org or via our website. Thank you all for attending. We hope to see you at our next session. Quiana, do you have anything else? Oh, wait, now I have a couple more questions.
Okay.
Do we have time to get a couple more?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
yes.
I wrapped this up, but if we have questions, we still have time, so we'll get to those. Why not? All right. Is AOL email still okay to use?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Is AOL email still okay to use?
Okay, so yes, it's still okay to use. Just make sure that you're not sending any sensitive information on any free email service because they're in clear text. Make sure you read the fine print about how your data is being protected and how it's being stored and used. I have a friend that actually has a popcorn shop and she still uses AOL. And she and I have had many debates about this, but in the end, I told her, AOL has been around for a while. And I know that if it's something that you've used when you first started and all of your information is there and, it's a well-known email address that you use for your small business community, it's okay. Just make sure you're not storing anything sensitive in nature in those emails. Make sure that anytime you are sending anything over email, just keep in mind that it's in clear text. So you have to use some type of password if you're going to send in any information. Again, I would say this till I'm blue in the face. Make sure that your employees have some type of education about how to send emails. Make sure that you have a security practice where you pick up the phone and make sure that the email that you sent is still the same email that the person on the other end has received.
Great, thank you. Would you recommend Business Central Dynamics? It has several features, including Office 365 and other features, but might be doing too many things at once for a system. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Yeah, so I'm not familiar with that one, but with any email service or any provider, I will still say, make sure that you read the fine print, read the terms and conditions, read their privacy policy, ask questions to those vendors about how information is protected, how it's being used, find out if they have a feature for secure emails. I would just make sure that, like with any vendor that you're using for your small business, that you just do your research on that business, see if that small business have what reviews are posted about that small business, if they have had any issues or any things in the past. Just do your research, do your due diligence. There's a lot of email services, a lot of providers that are, promoting that they can do X, Y, and Z. So my only, the biggest takeaways today is do your research, educate your employees, read the fine print, make sure that you're not sending any sensitive information over any email service, because those emails are sent in clear text, which means it is wide open for any scammer or hacker to be able to take such email and use it for whatever they want to use it for. So just protect yourselves, protect your small business, protect your customers.
Great, thank you. What email is safer to use?
So, all the email service providers feel like their product is the most safe. I'm actually vendor agnostic, meaning depending on the nature of your business and what you're using the email service for, will be based on your budget, based on your needs. But again, just make sure that whatever email service provider or any any tech provider that you're using, that you make sure you read any agreements you have with that provider, read any service level agreements as well. Make sure you read their privacy policies, the terms of use on how your data will be protected and what how your data will be protected, and make sure that you're not sending anything over that is sensitive in nature in clear text. Make sure your employees are educated on that particular email service. So my biggest thing to any small business owner, do your research. Do your research. The Federal Trade Commission has a lot of information on their website about different scams, about different businesses that have been reported. So just do your research.
Great, thank you so much. This one's more of a comment, just off of something you said rather than a question.
Okay.
Google Gmail does have a paid option, and on the business and enterprise plans, you are able to achieve various compliances levels like HIPAA, etc. But as Quiana has noted, external correspondence outside of the email provider must be secured with other services like Virtue or others.
Gmail does have a function that you can use as well now for small business owners. Most of them do have a paid service as well, but again, just make sure that whatever tech that you use for your small business, that you're reading the fine print, that you understand how your data is being used, how it's being protected, and then making sure that you create a security program to make sure that your data is being protected at all times. The whole premise of this session was to talk about, it's all about the data. Why is data so important? Because data is almost like gold. Data is like gold, depending on what type of data it is to a hacker or a scammer. We've seen a lot of recent attacks with ransomware, where organizations or agencies have lost millions of dollars because hackers got their information and was able to take it and capture it, and now they have to pay to get it back. I mean, if you can see that it is a global issue, it's not just something that's happening to small businesses. Even over the last couple months, we have a lot of things going on with the war. There's a lot of scams going on just around that. There's a lot going on. So just make sure you're just staying abreast of all these new trends and the new threats and the new risks, and that you're doing your part to communicate those risks and threats that will be pertinent to your small business, and making sure that your employees are educated, that you have a plan in place on what to do if something happens to you, to your business, to the data that will affect your customers. Making sure that you have a communication plan of some sort on how to communicate if something does happen, or what to do in those type of emergencies or incidents. So just being prepared is the key. Being prepared is the key.
Great, thanks. Is Google Workspace secure, and do we need additional provider for backing up data in addition, such as Crash Plan?
So each of the providers all provide you with a certain level of security, but depending on your small business and the data that you are being entrusted with and that you're protecting, there are always third-party applications that you can use with these providers to give you another level of security. So it's almost like, I'll use the analogy of your house. You may have a lock on your front door, but then you may decide you want to get an alarm system, right? You may even want to get a dog. You may even want to put a storm door up and then have a key and a lock to that. You may even decide you want to get a certain type of lock, a deadbolt lock, right? So think of those third-party applications or those additional services and resources as additional security features that will help secure your data. The more security that you have in place, it will just help you, prevent any potential incidents or breaches, right? Google Workspace is a great service. I've used it before. They do have some features that are already that you can use within Google Workspace, but those are things that you should talk to your talks amongst your leadership to see if those will be the best solutions for you. But again, do your research. Even look at the reviews for Google Workspace. Here, listen to your small business community, see what their feedback is. Did it work for them? If there's any issues with them, people do a great job in this day and age of posting any issues, problems, any complaints that they've had with such services. So do your research, stay informed, making sure that whatever technology that you bring into your organization, that you have done your due diligence as a small business owner.
Great, thank you. How may we best protect data coming to and through our websites from customers and suppliers?
So depending on your website provider, and if you're doing it yourself, most of the time they should have some type of documentation that will kind of walk you through what steps to take to make sure that you are putting another level of security on your website. It could be anything from having additional certificates or using HTTPS versus just regular HTTP. So having those conversations with your service provider and making sure that what security options they have available, and they may be some additional costs, right? Weighing out that cost benefit to see if that will be a great solution for your small business is key. Also, again, do your research, see what the community is saying about these particular services. Is it additional? Are they just upselling you to try to give you all these additional things that you need? Look to see what will be best suited for your company and look at your bottom line and what's your budget. And if you need some additional assistance about that, again, we're here to help you. The Virginia SBDC, we have one-on-one counseling and we can do a deeper dive and look and see what we can do for you.
Great, thanks. Sorry, I was muted there. Yeah, one more, well, we just kind of comment also on Google Workspace backups, check out afi.ai. They're a good option for consistent backups of Google Workspace content. They're also both willing to sign a business associates agreement.
Oh, okay. So again, a lot of times you'll be surprised at a lot of information or things that are already in place with the providers that you have. So just do your due diligence and make sure you read about what security features that they have, what additional options they have, do your research, making sure that, what are the reviews on these particular products and services, because it's a lot out there. We are living in a tech age where there's all different types of solutions. Every day there's something new that's coming out. I know at one point before we used to use GoToMeeting, and now then Zoom had a Zoom boom, called the Zoom boom. And they all have different features, right? And as new technology is constantly an evolving door. As a small business owner, make sure that you do your research so that you're picking the best solution for your company.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much. That's all the questions we have. So I'll go ahead and wrap up. I already let everyone know you're all going to receive a link to the recording and to the slides at the end. Quiana, do you have anything else to add?
No. So if you have any more questions or you want to do a one-on-one, maybe you were on the webinar and you just didn't want to, put your question in the chat, or maybe you'll leave and you'll say, wait, I should have asked that question. Please, we are here for you. Sign up to do one-on-one counseling. Sign up for any other webinars that we have in the future, because maybe if we didn't discuss it in this webinar, it may be something we'll discuss in future webinars. And then we have a lot of webinars we've done in the past that may can give you an answer that you need today, that maybe you don't have time to do a counseling session. Go to our website, look at future webinars, look at past webinars, sign up for future webinars, use some resources like the Federal Trade Commission that we listed today, sign up for Posture. It's a great program. So we have solutions here to help you. You're not in this alone. We want our small business community to be strong, to have very strong cybersecurity programs, and we're here to support you. Okay, so we are your partners in the fight.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for your awesome questions today. They're really great. I
Yes.
really hope to see you all next week at the same time for our next one on protecting your small business from identity theft. So I will leave you all. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes. Thank you. You guys have been a great audience. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda.
Bye.